This is a good fucking track. So, when Zephyrian summons Johann, this is the kind of shit I hear coming from his disco Nether realm that he comes from. Not that, I mean, one, not that anybody's listening, but one, not that anybody's listening. Check. Okay, we got audio over there. Check. All right, we got me going at both places. Woohoo! All right, audio's in all the places. What else is going on? Okay, what do we got going on tonight? And I do have my resolution set. Kind of. What the fuck was Gripner? Gripner was something. I should re-look that up again. Okay. So what are we doing tonight? So tonight. Oh yeah. Oh, look how crisp that is. That is incredibly crisp and readable. Okay, so tonight, so I have my DOOMGEON game that I'm running for Princess Popcorn and Friends on Monday. So we need to like just touch up. Okay, so DOOMGEON for Monday. Review here. I get to there. Review, encounter, polish the map. Really, it's like look at the encounter, read it. Hey, what's up, Ruengal? Do I have an echo? Is there an echo? Do you hear an echo? As far as my... Doesn't sound like I do. Doesn't sound like I have an echo. Do I have an echo? I'm not hearing myself echo. According to all my audio devices, only one should be producing sound. Here, let me pause the music, and then I will listen to myself on Twitch. I don't see who watches. Check. 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 Okay. Test. I'm gonna wait until I see myself say it. Oh, damn it! I have to be quiet now. How do I check if I have enough? How do I check if I have enough? How do I? Do you hear an echo, Hollow Fox? Do you hear an echo? You just heard an echo when I was listening to myself. Oh, so Broingalt, maybe that's what you heard. So at the beginning of the stream, I do an audio check so I can hear myself, and then I turn it off. So if you continue to hear an echo like right now, then okay, so Wojak doesn't. Okay, cool. So I think that was just my audio check that you heard. Okay, make me fucking panic and shit. Rad. Okay, so welcome everybody. So here's what we're gonna do. I've got a 5e DOOMGEON encounter that I have prepped for Monday. That we're gonna look at the encounter, look at the homebrew, talk about the overall structure and purpose of the encounter, and my theory behind it, and then we're gonna polish up the Tailspire map. Polish the Tailspire map because right now it is. I don't want to launch into it too greatly, but with the DOOMGEON, which is supposed to be kind of like a game of Gauntlet, like a series of arenas or boss encounters, it plays much more like a tabletop war game than your traditional campaign where you're like progressing in their story and stuff. And so I'm inspired heavily by the Dungeons and Dragons miniatures game, and it's a recreation of one of their official tournament maps. Only if you load it up in Tailspire, I mean, you can't tell that it's a... Well, I mean, actually, you totally can because I didn't polish it yet. So I will show I'll show the two different styles of encounter. One that's like a very organic, I think this will be a cool encounter. Here is the arena, and here's some creatures in it. Versus Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, which is much more about like victory points, and you need to control this spot until you get so many points, and the differences between the two, mainly in that your traditional encounter, like you do it until you kill everything or make everybody flee, where like enemies don't really have a hope of victory. in a normal encounter outside of like a boss fight or some shit. But in Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, it's basically designed, the way that I have designed it is that after 10 turns, if the heroes haven't like killed everybody or like really dominated the map, they lose. And so they don't have the option of, let's turtle in the corner with the bullshit cleric that has the domain ability that does like the area of effect, temporary hit points plus the area of effect like heal you. They just turtle in a corner and fucking win, right? Like, so it doesn't allow for that. And I don't know if it's going to be fun, right? I designed it to try to counter that style of play and to motivate players to rush out on the map and stuff, but it might not be fun, and so I won't do that anymore. Okay, so that's step one. Step one tonight is to look at this homebrew, review the encounter design, talk about the homebrew, and look at the map. And honestly, probably not much fucking else. Probably not much else. I gotta get some sleep. Okay. Hey, no problem, Rungal. Thanks for stopping by. I highly doubt I'll get to anything else after that. During this conversation, we're gonna talk about like encounter, I guess, design theory, with one option being standard D&D campaign encounters. Then there's gonna be your like random encounters using like challenge ratings, and then there is angry GM's alternate encounter design, right? And I think all three of these, there's a place for all three of these things, right? I don't think you need to go with one and have it always be the way to go. So I think this is the plan for tonight. Okay, so to start off, the DOOMGEON, for those who don't know, it's, son of a bitch, how do I start it? It's kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. So I'm going to go, come on. Oh, no, this is me. Oh, it's down here. Whatever. So the DOOMGEON is kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. This is the world map so far, right, that they're exploring. They started at the bottom of this giant, like, steam-powered, magical, like, city-sized machine, basically, right? They started down here at the approach, if you can see it. You probably can't. Oh, shit, there's a new version of Chrome. I probably should have done that. Oh, fuck, no! Shh. Plus F11. Yeah, that was a mistake. I knew it was. F11. Don't be shitty. I mean, here. This will be easier. I'll just export this as an image. Oh god, what have I done? Am I too zoomed out to see the fucking options? Yes, I've confused everything. Jesus Christ. We open over here. Okay, so this is where they are. Like, they started down here, they had an encounter here, they went up to this crazy UF's hut, they fought their way up here, they made their way up the stairs, and so each of these were like an arena that they fought through. They went to this huge ballroom and they fought Sigmund, and it was fucking epic, and it was like the encounter was based off the music, and there was like a techno, like Depeche Mode was one of the so he had a layer action where he would change the music, and depending on the music he would do a different thing. And when Depeche Mode started, it was like, you know, your own personal Jesus, and he turned into this fucking crazy angel. And then I turned on like Perturbator, and he turned into like this creature of darkness, and it was fucking rad as hell. Okay, and so anyway, they're progressing through these arenas, and so this is where they are now. But the full map, that, I mean, we won't have enough sessions for them to look at it, but here's the full map that we're not going to have time for them to explore it all. So here's the full map. When we go all the way up here, and this is like the heart chamber, where it's like as they make their way up, it becomes less a ruins and more of like a crazy ass marble astral magical situation. And so by the time they get up to the tippy top here, they're in like another plane of existence, right? It's very much the Gurren Lagann / Xenogears story, where you kind of discover that the thing you're inside is powered by something in like another dimension or something fucking weird. I don't know. Really, it's an excuse to have some crazy ass giant gauntlet style combats. So that's where they are right now. And so the current encounter that they are in is the Grand Elevator. And the Grand Elevator is an arena battle. Or excuse me, it's like a wave event. So they're in an arena, and there are several switches. One switch has like a theme to it, with the conceit of the encounter being that in order to get the elevator to move, they have to clear out these blockages. And so they select a switch that decides which themed blockage they're going to attempt, and then another switch that determines how big the blockage is, or also known as the difficulty. And so like if they choose, there's sewage, workshop, magic, and agriculture were the themes. And then there's the difficulties of like, you know, light, medium, heavy, and fucking impossible. And so they did like impossible on 2 of them, and it's like they were named like these really nasty named. And so this is the, oh god, at this resolution, I have my resolution set so that you can read things easily, but that does not make Tailspire look very impressive, at least on my monitor. Maybe it looks good to you, but it looks like absolute dog shit to me. So here's the Grand Elevator. So as you can see, as they fought, I revealed these side areas where they're fighting a bunch of things. Like, and here's all my tokens and stuff. There's like a bunch of named and a bunch of weird stuff. And so on the map, wherever it was, after they finish the elevator, they'll be able to either go further down into the mines or further into the water collection, like sewage system. In the sewage system, it's the spider branch of the dungeon. And so it's themed around like vermin, like rooms full of, like tunnels full of web and things like that. At which point at the end, there's a giant fucking spider boss. If they go to the crossroads, that leads them to the mines. In the mines, it's, so this giant robot thing, it's regrowing itself. It's regenerating, right? And so they're mining the metal of the inside of the legs. Oh man, my Twitch, I'm like super... The delay is serious. YouTube's up to date, but I feel like Twitch is operating on like a minute. Is like a minute behind. It's fucking weird, dude. I guess I'm just gonna pause Twitch. That's funky. I'm gonna pause them both. That's what I'm gonna do. That's strange though. I don't see any dropped frames or anything. Anyway, so they go to the crossroads, they go further into the mines, which is where there's like a bunch of orcs and humans that are mining this living metal, and then the metal will like grow back, so they just like mine it more. And so that's kind of that's the theme in the mines. And I thought here that there'd be like a cathedral, there'd be a courtyard, or like some shops or something like that. And I can't remember, I closed the tab already in Incarnate, but you could see where it branches into like many different places. And so what I need to do is I need to prepare the next potential encounters. So after the Grand Elevator is this place called the Precipice. The Precipice is like up here, you see where there's like the actual city coming out the side of the robot, right? And so in Tailspire, my Precipice map is it's a Stalry's Riven map that I've modified to basically be oh god, come on Tailspire, the fuck, man, dude, lag much? What is eating up my CPU, friend? Oh, I guess I can exit some of this stuff maybe. Oh, there's no like virus scan turned on or anything. Okay, so here is the Riven. his Riven City board, which was, as you can tell, fucking massive. It went like all the way back there, and it's bleached out to all the shit, so you can't see anything. I don't know if that helps at all, but it looks mega bleached out on my side. But anyway, so here's what I did with this encounter. Do you see where this red ring is here? So, oh fuck, I forgot. I need to like finish this. Oh yeah, I thought this was more finished than it was. Shit, I have work to do. I have work to do on this tomorrow. Anyway, so what I did, for this map, as well as, so this is the room after the elevator. This is the first room of the mines. And they're all done in the same way, as I'll allude to in a moment. So in this map, where these green crystals are, that is where Team A can deploy. Here and here, and if there's one other spot that they can deploy, like here. So there's 3 areas that Team A can deploy. There's 3 areas that Team B can deploy, which is like here, here, and here. There are areas that the teams can control. So this grate right here, where it's got the little bars, the little lights on it, those are control points for Team B. For Team A, there's like these lit squares, like there's one here, one here, and there's like one more. Where's the other one for Team A? Here, here, and there should be one more somewhere. I just don't know where it is off the top of my head. Where did I put it? It's not this. It's not here. Shit, I don't know where it is. I don't know what I did with it. I'll have to double check that it actually exists, because it might not. Oh, I think both teams can control the middle. Wait, there's 1, 2, 1, 2, and there should be one more control area for both of them. Or there's a shared one. So I think in the middle right here, underneath the lift, either team can control this to gain victory points. And so that's kind of the theory, the running theory with these maps, is that they are actual tactical tabletop, like war game maps, not your stereotypical you have a random encounter kind of shit. What was I going to say? Okay, so here's mines. Then there is the spider branch. And you'll see in a second what I mean. I need to go back and polish these maps. But I didn't put a lot of effort into them, because if they don't like this style, I won't do it again, right? This will make it easy. This one, it's much more clear that this has been made from a map, right? Like, Team A can deploy here, here, and here. Team B deploys here, here, and here. Control point for Team B is this webbing right here. A is going to be, see, I put the lights underneath, so there was purple lights and there's green lights. You can't see when I have the lights turned up. But purple is for Team A and green is for Team B. So Team B needs to be here. They can both be here where it's purple. And then I think these two are control point. Here's a control point, here's a control point, and like the middle? I don't remember. I'll have to look before I actually, like, you know, start the combat. But so this is a map that needs to be touched up, because this looks like dog shit. So even if I don't plan on using this style anymore, this is still really fucking bad. And all, I mean, I say I don't want to put a lot of energy into it. I still need to put enough into it that it doesn't look embarrassing to the point that it detracts from having a fun session. So I think what I'll do is, oh my god. I think I want to prepare the precipice. Because I don't think they wanted to go to mines or spider, because they don't sound interesting. It's not exciting. We have 4 sessions left, and they want to do exciting things. So let's go look at the precipice, and I'm fine just totally throwing away the mine. Well, I mean, the mines one will be kind of fun. We'll see. So let's work on this one. So this map, how it's going to work here, and I mean, let me know if you can't like see. The lighting looks a little funky to me. So how this is going to work is that thematically, this is going to be where the team exits the elevator out into this courtyard. The courtyard is going to be defended. Like, obviously, when they exit the elevator, the defenders know they're there and are going to respond. Like, the defenders are like, you shouldn't fucking be in our giant mech. Get out, right? The map... Why is there a German Shepherd on the board? I don't know why I added a German Shepherd here. Wait. Oh, I don't know why there's a German Shepherd there. Did I put the German Shepherd there? I bet it was a stall. It's like a lingering... It's like a lingering artifact from a stallry, I think. So what I had to do here was... And see how I don't like the look of this at all? Like, this is all going to need to change. Now that I've had a chance to step away, that marble looks fucking god-awful. Actually, I think it looked fine if I removed the shit inside, to be honest. And just leave it. I mean, even just pure white looks better than whatever I've got going on right there. This, I can't handle that. That's gross. Get the fuck out of here. Yuck. Oops. Yeah, so this is all going to get removed. Like, I'm going to delete this and put the wood on there. But that's the stuff that's kind of like, that's for this session. That's what I'm doing right fucking now, is that kind of work. So I'll show you the map I'm working from. It is from the Dungeons and Dragons Miniatures Gazetteer. And in case people don't know, actually, what Dungeons and Dragons Miniatures are, I will tell you. Dungeons and Dragons Miniatures is actually, it's a tabletop war game that they've been creating for like a really long fucking time. And I guess unpin it, yo. It's a tabletop war game where for every, not edition, but all the content that comes out for Dungeons and Dragons, is it in design docs? Where did I put it? It's Gazetteer. They create creature cards, and they create, it's like Magic, where they create a deck, and creatures have stat block cards, and you make a war band based on the current content, and like they have point values, and there's like a whole, I think they're mainly using like D&D 3.5, I think, for their actual for their actual rules, like to hit and all that stuff. But it's been streamlined to play as a tabletop fucking war game, which is really interesting because that's pretty close to kind of what I was hoping for the DOOMGEON to be. So they have lots of maps. This is like their Gazetteer thing. And did I use the jungle map? Jungle Temple. Yeah. So this is the Jungle Temple map. But all I've done is recreated the Jungle Temple map in Tailspire. But instead of actually being a jungle temple, this is still the playing area. But instead of it being a jungle temple, I just recreated it to be the courtyard of this, of this like precipice, right? So what I'll end up doing is I'll be removing these red tiles and putting some other indicator of like, okay, this is the play area. And you are all going to be able to, we're going to roll initiative in the beginning, and then the players can place their tokens on their side of the map. The enemies, I'll be placing their tokens in their deployment areas as well. And then we'll basically initiate combat, with the difference being that we have these control points, and the enemies can just kind of control the control points and have a chance of winning. Rather than like, I mean, the players just do like a boatload of damage, and their builds are like super cheap and combo and all that garbage. And we'll see if it's fun. We'll just see if it's more fun than what I've been doing before. So let's go look at the encounter. Wherever that shit is. Oh, it's not here. Let's go look at wherever my, close that. Now that you've got your 101 there, DOOMGEON Season 1. So there's a couple things going on here. First, the theme of the encounter of the precipice. I don't know that you can see this even. I can't zoom in far enough for you to like read anything, I don't think. Maybe I can. Maybe you can read it. Maybe not. Okay, so M8, the precipice, the oh, I suppose I should talk about my encounter design here, or the theories behind it. Or if there's anybody, I don't know if there's anybody watching or not, but so let's go back to Notepad. So here is design theory 1. Design theory 1, standard campaign. Right? I can stretch that out a little bit. You know what I'm talking about. Woo. So in a standard campaign, encounters are dynamic and tailored to the party. Right? So as a GM, you look at all the stuff they have, you've very carefully handcrafted and handed out equipment and magic items, so you know exactly what will challenge your party and make everything to suit. And usually your encounters are also going to push the story. So encounters are dynamic, tailored to the party, and you may or may not, may or may not follow CR. You inherently know what will challenge the group all the time, because it is handcrafted. Their experience is incredibly specific and personal. I think about that. Specific and personal experience. Okay, so in this case, if you're running a standard D&D campaign, you don't need to worry about anything else, because for every encounter, you're carefully crafting all of it. And hopefully you're an experienced enough GM that you can kind of feel out how much damage they do around, and how much damage they can take, what kind of spell effects your party will piss their pants if they get hit by, or cry, or whine. I don't know. You know your party, you know all their gear, you know all their characters, and so you specifically build something to challenge them. And so you do. So you just fucking do. So this is design theory 1. Design theory 2, random encounters. So this is usually there is an encounter chart for an area of some kind, and by I mean I use area loosely. Or an area. It could be a forest, it could be inside a haunted mansion, it doesn't matter, right? There's an encounter chart for an area, and you roll on it. It could be that you very carefully look at your group and you understand what everybody can do, and you handcraft this encounter chart to specifically, you tailor the encounters, all the encounters on the encounter chart specific to your players, but chances are you fucking don't, because that's a lot of fucking work, and fuck that. So with a random encounter, you've got a list of kind of generic things that make sense for makes sense for the area, for the surroundings, or story, or what the fuck ever, right? So in this event, you're crafting encounters. Your players the players can generally choose how much time to spend. They can choose. I'm trying to think of how to put this. Players can generally make decisions that cause more or fewer, more or less, more or fewer rolls on the chart. Right, and this is going to be do you stop to heal? If you stop to heal, maybe you roll, or maybe you go fast. You guys push it, because if you go faster, you're going to have more encounters or something like that. You're going to be tired. You might have exhaustion. So there's a list that you're rolling from, and usually this is based on CR. A common way to generate the list of encounters is to create it based on party challenge rating, right? So I think that's kind of common for this. You're going to go to D&D Beyond. You're going to say, I want a challenge rating 3 encounter, and it's going to tell you, well, this encounter is worth 3,000 experience worth of creatures, but if you do 3,400, then it's going to be a deadly encounter or a medium encounter or what the fuck ever encounter. Okay, so this is design theory 2, so random encounters. And between these two, that's usually what you got. That's like pretty normal. Your random encounters, you're not going to put a ton of thought into it. Like, okay, you're either going to fight bears or griffins or lions or something. I don't know. You're wandering somewhere that's going to have some probably not, like, non-intelligent creatures potentially. Unless you're playing Descent to Avernus or something shit like that, where it's like intelligent demons that are just assholes. But for the most part, generic list of shit. That's it. Okay, so now design theory 3. I don't even know what to call this. Something else. Like, not those other two. And at least this is just like, it's just one alternate method. And this is going to be, God, what the fuck do I call it? What kind of category of design theory is Angry GM's alternate encounter system? It's like by, I'm going to call it by warband, almost. Like war bands. Is that what I want to call it? Okay, so Angry GM has this method for designing encounters, and it's pretty fucking cool. And in it, you basically design a war band for your party to fight. There's a variable number of like slots in the enemy warband, right? There's a number of slots in it. Actually, even to start off, like, actually no. Okay, and the number of slots, it determines difficulty. The standard is 1 slot per party member, right? I guess I could put that. I don't want to get into the whole thing. But there's a number of slots in an enemy warband, and your job is to fill those slots. You're not worried so much about the number of total XP like you are with, you know, when you're determining challenge rating at like D&D Beyond, right? Which actually, to be honest, the D&D Beyond challenge rating system works great up to about level 3. And after that, it all fucking falls apart because they don't take into account for subclasses and sick fucking crazy warlock hexblade combos into some asshole paladin shit. So, and I'll just put in here like Angry GM. Warbands. This is like Angry GM's system. Okay, so you have a number of slots. Okay. Additionally, warbands. You determine warbands have a tier, like, right? And tiers are based on like character levels. And this is your standard, like, you know, tier 1 is like level 1 and 2. Like tier 1 is like level I don't even remember. It's like level 1 to 2. Then it's like 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 or something like that. Anyway, warbands have a tier. Tiers are based on character levels. So what you say is, this warband is an adventurer tier warband. And then you have your slots, and then you fill them accordingly. So warbands have a tier. Creatures have a tier. And so when you're creating, creatures have a tier. Creatures have an organization type. So, and this can be like solo, pair, party, gang, mob. So rather than you have a CR2, you have a CR2 bandit. Good for you. So if your party is an adventurer tier, which is like level 2 to 3 or something like that, when you're filling the slots in your warband, the creatures, depending on how many of them there are per slot, they're going to have different stats. And so this is where shit's probably going to get too fucking complicated to explain on the stream. But here is Angry GM's chart for given your tier. See here, you've got Apprentice, Journeyman, Adventurer, Veteran, Champion, Heroic, Legendary. It has some defensive statistics. What's its AC? What's its hit points? Like blah, 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 blah. And in each one, very quickly, you can say, this is an Apprentice level creature. If it is solo, by default, it probably has about 75 hit points. So if you have 4 slots in your Apprentice level warband, and you put 4 solo creatures in it, they're all going to have about 75 hit points. They're going to have +4 to attack. Save is, you know, and you can't see some of the other shit up here because the text is in the fucking way, but you can see down here, right? Where they're going to do average. You can't even see it here. Anyway, I suppose I could just download this. Actually, I probably have it. Let me go to my downloads. Angry. Really? The shit? Okay. It's around here somewhere. DOOMGEON design, docs. Here we go. Okay, here we go. It's a little better. So they have defensive stats and offensive stats. And so for a solo creature, it says how much damage it should be doing per round. Dude, hey, what's up, Part of Adventure? So your Apprentice level creature, average damage per round for a solo slot is 12. So if you have 4 solo creatures, 1 for each of your 4 slots, they're going to do 12 damage each, right? So using this system of like, okay, what tier's my warband? How many slots do I have? Okay, if I'm going to have a pair of creatures to fill 1 slot, well, then they're each going to have about 38 hit points, and they're each going to do about 8 damage per round. So using this, unfortunately, you have to fucking recreate every goddamn creature in the monster manual, right? Which, it's a lot of fucking work. It is a lot of work. And I will show you what I've done. I've created about 70 homebrew creatures that all fit these criteria. By default, the system goes from like they're either poor at it, they're neutral at it, or good at it. So it's like -1, 0, or +1. I've modified this system so that you can go all the way to -5. So -5, 0, or +5, using some fancy Google Sheets shenanigans. And I've synchronized all of these creatures, and I've made homebrew at D&D Beyond for all of them. My plan is to basically publish this for my patrons, and I'll make a book. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks so much, Heart of Adventure. That makes me feel good. Oh, you like the crunchy nerd snap. So when I say that I'm going to be publishing a book for the DOOMGEON, what I really mean is, if you look at so here are all of the encounters that I've created. This is for season 1, right? And there's not very many because they haven't gone very far. So here are all the slots. Here are the creatures in those slots and their difficulty and all that stuff. And then I've also, where is it? Oh, folders. I have a design document for them. So if we go look at season 1, like the season 1 campaign, the Machine of Zot. Oh wait, this is like a, hang on. No, where's my, it's this one. So for each of those encounters, I'll show you what I've written up. There's the arena. There's a Tailspire map that goes along with it. There's a tier. There's the threat level. So say the group is an adventurer tier, but the encounter is one level higher, like Journeyman or like fucking Hero or something. They shouldn't fucking be there. Then it shows up here. There's usually a theme like metallic plant. This one's metallic plants and it's outdoors. There's the approach description. There's usually the inciting incident. There's the goals of the foes. There's a list of troops for the encounter. Again, all that have like D&D Beyond links. Then it usually has a like some sort of inciting incident description. The troop strategy, right? So I've written an encounter with a Tailspire map with homebrew for like 50 or 60 encounters. And so if we go back to design theory number 3, right? You design a warband. You determine how many slots there are. When you're creating your creatures, you populate those different slots. If it's a tough creature, it's going to have 1. Bosses usually take up more than 1 slot. So you can have like a solo ×2 that takes up 2 slots and is like really fucking tough. You can have your group fight things that are of a tier higher or lower, but have a shit ton of them. So anyway, this system, using the numbers provided by the Angry GM here, I have found really fucking works. It works. So if you have an adventurer party, level 6 to 8, a solo creature is going to have about 165 hit points. It's going to do about 48 damage per round. And so I have created all of that homebrew at D&D Beyond. Like, you don't even know like how much fucking homebrew I have created for this thing. And that's what I plan on publishing in a book. So that, I hope, I guess at least like sets the stage for what the fuck I'm talking about. Right? And none of it, like, some of them have been published, but not a lot. And so if I go and look at okay, so animated weapon, like, so the animated weapon, when I look at this entry, I don't know if you can fucking see it or not. View details page, probably not. I feel like the screen looks bleached out and you can't read it. Okay, so here's the animated weapon. So in the homebrew, I put Angry GM system. This is a journeyman level threat. Its threat level is medium. And so what this means is, in the threat DB, if you go back here, there's their quality of their stat. So if your AC quality is above 0, that means it's green, which means it's good at that. And so this one's got +4. Who am I looking at? This is the Draconian Knight, who's a fucking beast. Let's find the animated weapon. It's like animated weapon. So okay, so here's our animated weapon. So its AC is 0, hit points is 0. Oh, actually, this guy is neutral. Actually, no, I gave him 2 points because it can fucking fly and because it has resistance to everything. So its trait modifier is 2, which isn't too far from 0, which leaves him at medium threat. The stats even themselves out. So if you have like +2 to your AC and -2 to hit points, that's a medium creature because they cancel each other out. For bosses that have like only good stats, no bad stats, and in fact some are fucking sickness. Like Donald has a +3. He has a total trait modifier of +6, which means he will fuck you up. Donald will, and he did. Donald fucked the party up. Francis did not. Francis could have, but I missed a lot, and they just like nuked her. She summoned a bunch of like demons and stuff. It was insane. It was super fun. So, using this system, you can get some really interesting dynamic encounters, like really cool themed encounters. And I mean, anyway, I highly recommend it. So this is the design theory that I'm using with my DOOMGEON encounters. Yeah, I basically build a warband for them to fight against, right? And then I take that warband and I drop it into the Dungeons and Dragons miniatures system so that I can use the Dungeons and Dragons official tournament map against the party. So the party will spawn over here. Then I will use the Angry GM's encounter design system to populate my warband on the other side of the map. And his system inherently allows for things like, okay, slot 1 is a solo creature. So like some, I don't know, like I think in this fight there's a oh, son of a bitch, what is he? He's a dark elf. Oh man, what the fuck is he? Excuse me. Oh, he's a dark elf knight. And I think he has like an animated weapon or something like that. I can't really remember. So slot 1's like this knight. Actually, why don't I go fucking look? I can tell you exactly because I designed it. Season 1. This is the Precipice. This encounter will have 3 Deep Elf Archers, 3 Deep Elf Assassins, and so each of these things, their organization is party, right? And a party is any group of 5 to 7, I want to say. And so I decided on 6. So as a creature that has an organization of party, you ask yourself, well, what the fuck are its stats? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to go here. This encounter is, what's the difficulty of this encounter? Adventurer. So our tier is Adventurer. The organization of this monster is Party, which means it's going to have 50 hit points. They're going to have +6 to hit. They're going to have 20 hit points, right? Or excuse me, they're going to have 20 damage per round each. And that should be about good for a group of level 6 to 8 characters. So if they're level 6, it might be a problem. If they're level 8, less so. But there's a band, right, that this is appropriate for. So that is, it just tells me what the stats are of my party creatures. It might seem like this, not homogenized, what's the word for it? Basically, if all creatures that are Adventurer and have an organization of party all have 50 hit points, well, doesn't that make it boring? If like the players know that everything has 50 hit points like that, and they all have +6 to hit. And I'll tell you right now, the answer is fucking no. The answer is no, because it frees you. This system kind of frees you up from trying to deduce what the hit points should be, and trying to deduce what their armor class should be, and trying to deduce what their damage per round should be. It just tells you what it is, and then you can find creative ways to reach it. And with their core statistics already basically chosen, you can say, you know what, I'm going to bump up its hit points, I'm going to reduce its AC to try to have it like even itself out. And then you can focus on the interesting stuff that they can do. Like, do they have pack tactics? Can they do something weird? Like I have some archers that if they fire an arrow at somebody who's in combat with one of their friends, they get advantage. Like, just, you can take your time and spend your energy thinking about their troop tactics and how they synergize and how like interesting, cool special abilities, and not have to rack your brain about how much fucking hit points they have, because who gives a fuck about that? Unless it's a boss. If it's a custom handmade boss, it's like it's a different story. What this does, there's a complication to this though, and that is, well, okay, my Deep Elf Archer at the Adventurer tier has these stats. What about my Deep Elf Archer of the tier above, like Champion? Well, that kind of means that you're going to need multiple, if you're doing the homebrew thing at D&D Beyond, you're going to have multiple copies of the same creature, just at different tiers, right? And then, but you could very easily say, okay, I want a Deep Elf Archer that's super fucking good. This Deep Elf Archer is not in a party. This Deep Elf Archer is solo, and you can just like grab the stats real quick. And that's where I developed this whole system over here of like tier, organization, and threat in this spreadsheet, where I can just drop this from a pair to solo, and like all the stats will change like inherently out over here. And I should put it back before I fucking break it. So at any point, and I'm hoping to stand this up on my website at some point for patrons only, where you can at any point be like, Deep Elf Assassin, I want it to be, okay, let's go to Champion tier and see what the fuck it does. And just like, boom, here's your stats right there. And so yeah, I plan on, and I know doing this in Google Spreadsheets is not the fucking way. I know how to make a MySQL database. I know how to make a website. So getting the prototype done in Google Sheets and then converting it is like really fucking easy. So I'm going to do that with the help of my friend ChatGPT, who does all the hard work for me. Hey, what's up, the creature? Yeah, so I will be releasing this to my patrons. I mean, I have 75 homebrew at this point. And all of them right now do have like D&D Beyond links for them, but again, they're static. It's not as useful as like, I want to have a site that where it's like, it's got a stat block at the bottom where you're like, Orc Wizard, right? And then there's a stat block, and then you can toggle the tier, the organization, and the threat, and have it just like change the stat block in real time, and then you can like screenshot it or something. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But so these encounters that I have designed, I didn't know this when I was doing it, but this is the content. This is the content that I'm going to be publishing. So I'm going to do probably a Kickstarter for the virtual tabletop journey DOOMGEON collection, which is going to be, you know, like 100 or so homebrew creatures. It's going to be so season 0 encounters. I'll show you all the encounters I wrote for season 1. And you probably can't see, but maybe it doesn't matter. So season 1 has 16. Actually, so season 1 was different. When I did season 1, it was like a sprawling map that they trying to think out here. I can show you. I can show you what it looked like, and they all have Tailspire maps. So there's that too. So season 1, I started season 1 more like Gauntlet, where there's a big map to explore, and you just, oops, this is season 1, season 0. And it had like hallways and they connected, but the group didn't actually use the hallways. It was very much like, it was like Legend of Zelda, where you're in a room, you clear the room, and it's like, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go north, west, south, or which way do you want to travel? You know what I mean? And depths one, no, let's do lair. Lair's a good example. Well, I think lair's a good example. So here's lair, and you can kind of see how it's laid out, right? I think so. If I go this way, and I don't think, you probably can't see the hide volumes because I deleted them. Oh, I can go to the published versions. So basically they started here and they fought a bunch of stuff when they first entered. There's like a bunch of giant frogs and alligators and shit. Here, let me see if I have the version that where they're already hidden. Oh, actually, I published it, so I can just go if I can get it, can I? DOOMGEON S0 main. Oh, let's do main 4. I can just show it to you. This is what the published version looks like, and these are already available and published at oh shit, there's 2 of them now. Oops, it's this one. These are published at Tales Tavern. You can go get these right now. They're free. Okay, so when you first started in the DOOMGEON season 0, you came down the stairs and it was like, do you want to go left or right? And as they explored, they exposed, you know, these rooms. And so in DOOMGEON season 0, each of these rooms is its own encounter. And so basically what I'm saying is this spreadsheet only has, you know, it has 12 rows in it, but each row is a whole floor like this. And so each row has actually probably 4 encounters in it. And so the book that I'm going to end up publishing is these individual encounters. So that basically it's just for GMs, where it's just like, dude, here's some encounters. You know, here's a Word document that's going to say, here's, for this encounter, here's your theme, here's your tier. So should you choose to use this particular tier, you can tweak it if you go to the website or whatever. Here's an approach description that you don't have to use. Here's a goal for your opponents. You know, here's how the group can win or whatever. And so, yeah, what I want to publish is this book of homebrew and this book of encounters. There you go. That's, you know, that's what you're paying for. I had planned to, like, you know, do a whole, like, design. Oh, shit. I should have deleted that, but I planned on publishing it as some sort of, like, campaign book or, like, a style of play, but I think the real value is just in the homebrew and the encounter design. So anyway, that is your background 101 on the encounter theory that I used to design all the stuff in the DOOMGEON for season 1. And oh god, I think I covered everything, right? We talked about the 3 styles of encounter design, being design theory 1, which is your standard campaign where everything's dynamic to the party and you've very carefully hand-tailored every item and bonus that they have, and all encounters are incredibly specific and personal to them. Design theory 2, which is random encounter charts for when they're fucking off, and you just kind of want to surprise them. But usually those lists are creatures like beasts and things that aren't like super coherent, or maybe they're like situational encounters or something. And then I'm talking about this warband system, where you determine the tier of your party and then the tier of the encounter that they're currently in, and then populating the slots in the warband in a particular way using the Angry GM's system. And you can also cross-reference the statistics, and this is what I ended up doing. So when I made the homebrew at D&D Beyond, I needed to find out a challenge rating, right? And so I'll end up adding this to this music. I gotta wait for the bass to drop so I can fucking think. Oh, this music's loud as shit, yo. I mean, you haven't been complaining about it, so I'm not gonna do much. So basically, someone online made this 5e quick monster stats chart. I don't know who it is. It's probably been around the internet forever. But basically, I cross-reference this chart with the statistics provided by the Angry GM thing, and I try to figure out roughly what the CR of a creature is. And so some things have like, +3 to hit. Okay, they only have an armor class of 14, but they only have 75 hit points, right? So maybe they're kind of in the middle range somewhere. And then I look at their attack bonus and their average damage per round to try to follow the line across as it goes up and down and try to find something in the middle. And then it's like, okay, this thing's CR5, whatever. And so all of my creatures at D&D Beyond, I've done that with them to try to figure out what their challenge rating should be. And probably what I'll do is, right now this CR equivalent column in here is, I did this column is manual on the right, but I'll very likely come up with some sort of algorithm that can fucking figure it out, basically. And so as you tweak like the orc commoner from apprentice to champion, it'll spit out the correct rough CR equivalent for, I don't know, distributing experience or what the fuck ever. But again, challenge rating all falls apart after like CR3 anyway, so whatever. Any questions? Any questions about Angry GM's system? Actually, I should post the link to it in case anybody's fucking giving a shit. Angry GM alternate encounter building. How to build fucking awesome encounters. Is this the one? No, it's like encounter. How to build fucking awesome encounters. Is this the one that I just clicked on? No, it's like Angry GM's Angry GM alternate encounter building. The fuck is it? Oh, fuck CR, there's a better way. Yes. Where's part 1? Fuck CR, there's a better way, part 1. Because it's true. Here you go. Okay, so all y'all out there, follow that link and you'll learn all about the system that I'm working on, or not that I'm using. And the whole first article explains why CR is just fucking broken. And it is. It really just doesn't fucking work. And the second with the part 2, well, I guess I could post the part 2 link if you really. I don't think there's anybody. I don't even know if there's anybody watching right now, but I'm going to post these links anyway. There you go. So the part 2 is the actual practical, here's how you fucking do it. And it's interesting, really. It's like figure out the number of slots in the opposing warband, figure out how you want to populate it. And it's not perfect, but it gets closer to a challenge that feels good than CR ever could in my mind. Oh, let's look creature. So you have a unique power scale for each homebrew enemy when you increment the tier threat level, or do they scale? But it is not linear. It's not linear, I don't think. I mean, we can just look at it. Like, watch. So if we look at like veteran, right? So we have 165. So for an adventurer creature, solo hit points is 165. Pair is about half. Party is a little bit lower. He used a bunch of crunchy fucking math, and this is what he talks about. He's like, look, he analyzed it all. He actually did a bunch of analysis with bell curves and averages and all that bullshit to figure out this chart. So 100% full credit to the Angry GM for this chart. It's definitely not, I mean, it's not super linear, but if you look at this, it's plus 15 every time, right? So 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, like these are all more or less plus 15. But look right here, like, so 210 to 225. So this looks very linear right here, all the way up. 345 to 260. This is all roughly, so like we have plus 8 right here, plus 7 right here, plus 7, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7. You know what I mean? Like, this is plus 7 or plus 8 all the way up. So, I mean, I take it back. I think this is pretty linear. It looks pretty linear. What will happen if you use this, though, is once your players get, like, AC 20, they won't get hit. That's been my experience. Like, players, once they get plate mail, and they're, like, AC 20, 21... right? If they do some shenanigans, they're like Warforged or something, I don't know. My experience has been that you just cannot fucking hit anything with AC 20 unless it's like peak Journeyman where they're at like plus 7. And so I tend to give monsters around this area some bullshit that where it like hits automatically, or they always get advantage, or there's some way for your foes to hit a dude with AC 20x, be it with like a dex save or something along those lines. And that's where in my threat DB I have this special quality column where yes, they only have plus 7 to hit, but they almost always have a thing. You know what I mean? Like, these things are nasty if you can't see them, or if they surprise you, or like they have some way of being threatening. And some things are threatening just by the sake of being there, being big and scary with lots of hit points, and they hit hard. Other things, I'm trying to think how to put it. So I said it earlier, I don't know if you're here or not, but these charts free you from having to come up with the hit points and the armor class and the whatever. It answers those questions for you, right? And it frees you up to come up with strategy and interesting abilities for players to worry about. And you should always give every creature like 1 or 2. Really only like your things that are just supposed to get in their way would just, like, it would just be these stats and nothing more, right? Like, either they fly or they can grapple or they're an octopus or like, I don't know. But these charts just free you up to think about how to make your encounters more like interesting and dynamic, I guess. Okay, so back to campaign 1, and we're looking at the precipice map. So in the precipice, I've got to turn down this music for me because I'm like shouting. Oh. I gotta turn it down so I can hear myself think. Oh my god, that's better. Turn down a little bit for you too. Okay, so in the precipice encounter, they've exited the grand elevator, and I wanted it. I was thinking about having it being like a two-phase situation where phase one we do this like Dungeons and Dragons miniature thing where they're trying to control specific areas of the map. There's like a warband size, so there's 4 slots for this encounter. Threat level medium, theme is skirmish. Oh, so in talking with the players said, you know what? These encounters feel easy. Well, because of like Angry GM's system, all I have to do, so they're now level 5. They're journeyman. They're top of journeyman now. And they're like, you know what? Things are kind of easy. So all I'm going to do is make the next encounter the next tier up. Right? And it'll make it more challenging. And so very quickly, I don't have to go hunt down a bunch of other homebrew. I don't have to go hunt down much of anything. I can use the exact same encounter I already planned, go here, and for each of my creatures, just toggle it to the next tier up. And use the same exact creatures, the same exact strategy. I don't have to go hunt down like, oh shit, well, they were going to fight a chimera and some lions, and I had all the experience points figured out and the CR figured out. But to challenge them a little bit more, now I need to either go find challenge ratings a little bit higher, or I need to add a custom element, or I need to like homebrew my chimera to have more hit points or some shit. Just like straight up give it 100 more hit points. I don't know. I can just very quickly go here and toggle a thing, and it'll just give me the new stat block. Here you go. Like, oh, you want this guy? You want, Azul at solo times 4? You just click it and it happens. So basically, the feedback I got from the party was, this shit's too easy. Can you have the next one be more challenging? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. This is genius, to be honest. Perfect for the smaller encounter I dreaded making stats for. Yeah, this just like gives you the stats. And okay, so there's two documents though. There's the first one, which is the Angry GM's thing, which you should go to his website to find the chart. In the second link there, here, if I click it. Scroll. So go here and download this. That'll give you that. The other one I just did, I did a search for 5e CR stat chart. The monster quick stats by CR. Here it is. Some bullshit from like fucking 9 years ago. This is a chart from 9 years ago, and it's still got mileage on it. Dude, LaBubby Nation. Whoa. What happened here? There we go. I haven't seen you for infinity. How are you, man? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, it's been forever. So 9 years, and this chart's been working. So between this chart and the other chart, it will answer your question for what are the stats of this creature and what challenge rating is the creature, and then you can find out what kind of cool shit they do, right? So like, do you want an encounter where they're being pulled into the trees, or do you want an encounter where you're fighting in a river? Like, your stats are already answered, so think about what actually makes the combat interesting. Okay, so for the precipice, the theme is that it's a city square for Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. It's an adventurer tier, medium threat. Theme is skirmish, which is my, like, they're trying to get victory points in order to win. There's some mechanics going on in this encounter. Basically, climbing. Walls are stone and wood. They permit climbing as per difficult terrain. The warband size is 10. Warbands cannot have more than 10 tokens deployed. So this is my indicator that basically, if I have too many creatures on the board, the GM's turn is really fucking long. If I have 10 creatures on the board, like, the players are sitting there watching me do shit for like 10 minutes, which sucks. Hey, thank you very much. Was that a subscribe? Where's my, I didn't hear my daughter's, like, excavator high five. That's sad. My fucking sound alerts. Fuck you, sound alerts. So I am making maps. Here is the map for this encounter. You know me. It's not great, and actually tonight I'm hoping to polish this map a little bit. But what I did was I took a Dungeons and Dragons miniatures official map, and where did my... It's the Gazetteer downloads. Basically, I'm trying something out, is what I'm doing. Where are you? Fuck. Don't be that way. So basically what I'm trying for this particular encounter is I'm doing a Dungeons and Dragons miniatures thing, which is more of like a tabletop war game encounter. Always on Tailspire. So Team A is gonna, and this is gonna be the player team, can deploy here, here, and here. Team B can deploy, I think, here, here, and like here. And again, I need to polish this board. But there's gonna be victory points. So there's particular areas that Team B can occupy to score points and stuff. And really, it's because players will just fucking murder your their foes, right? With this setup, with it being kind of like a strategy war game, your opponents can win if the players turtle in a corner with some bullshit abilities and like when you're playing a video game and you expect the enemies to like walk towards you and you just like kill them as they approach you. This forces the players to like get out on the board and engage. And so I'm trying a different thing. It could not be fun. Like the players could just like not find it fun. And then I won't do it anymore. Right? So it's kind of an experiment to see how it goes. But anyway, so no. So it's my warband. So they're playing against my warband. Traditionally in Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, it is a strategic, it's like Warhammer where people play against other people. But I'm trying to apply that to D&D. And so let me explain the mechanics, and then I'll scroll down and you will discover more of the things that I am thinking about. So warband size is limited to 10, so I can have 10 tokens on the board at a time, but I do have reserves. So as my enemies are defeated, I can place more out. It is theoretically possible for the players to kill them all, but it'd be way faster if the players just like won using victory points. So reinforcements, at the end of the turn, if I have things in reserve and a slot's open, I can place the tokens. And scouts. Scouts are like rogues, basically. They can be deployed in different areas when the game starts. Victory points is 400. If anybody gets to 400 points, they win. If you control one of your victory areas, it's 20 points per turn. If you destroy a creature, then you get points for destroying it. If the foes damage 2 players, then the foes get 20 victory points. If a foe hits a player with a sneak attack, then they get bonus points. Oh god, this is no thank you. Skip that track. And so this is like, it gives a slight edge to the foes to be able to theoretically win without having to kill a whole party. Like that's just, I mean, that's kind of the nature of it, right? Like the enemies actually only ever win if they wipe out your party, and you don't actually want that to ever happen. But in this, it could be like, okay, the enemy won, like they kept you from whatever it is that you're trying to fucking do. No. So anyway, there's victory points here. And then I have some rewards, like if they have an overwhelming victory, they get more rolls of gear or shit. So here are the troops for this particular encounter. We have 3 Walker Sentinels. Actually, I don't know that this is true. I'd have to go check my notes. So there's Walker Sentinels, which are just, if you look here, there's Sentinel. There's 3 of them. They're core tactics. So there are core tactics and secondary tactics. And the goal here is to have a base AI for these creatures such that if we were to be playing a West March, yeah, Capture the Flag would be a perfect example too. If we were playing in a West March and I had 10 GMs, and in a West March, it's very much like the group decides to go explore a place, or you can do what's called a bounty, or like a short combat session in a West March where it's not like an adventure. It's just like you go in, you have a combat, and then, you know, you're done. And it's because some people just don't fucking have time to sit around for 3 or 4 hours, but they still want to play some D&D. The idea behind kind of this AI is to allow a sense of quality between GMs. So if 10 GMs were all to run the same encounter, there's a modicum of quality or consistency among what all of those GMs would do. So for this Walker Sentinel, it is an intelligent creature, and it's going to attack with its melee weapon. And its organization is like a party. So there's 3 of them, right? And so here's how many points they're worth. The Assassin is also intelligent. It's going to attack with the melee weapon, and it doesn't have any special targeting here, right? And actually, I wonder why not. And so anyway, when things are intelligent, it means something specific, and I'll scroll down in a second to explain that. The War Griffin is a beast. Its core tactics are beast, which I should change to name something different. Its secondary tactics are grappler, and then it has a special thing that it does. So, ideally, like I said, this is if we had a bunch of GMs all running a West March, they kind of have to do the same thing. It removes the element of like your GM's being a piece of shit, right? Like War Griffins are going to fly towards the closest thing and try to grapple them and carry them up into the sky and drop them. It's just what they're going to fucking do. So, environmental challenges. This map, it doesn't contain any pits or damaging areas. It has some areas to control. On the north side of the map, there's a healing fountain, which heals 20 hit points a turn. I can show that's what this fountain is right here. And then in the middle, there's an area where you have an increased critical chance if you stand in the purple crystals, right? I think. The central victory area offers increased critical rate. So people in the middle don't get it, but people on the edges of it get plus critical. So the troop strategy, the Dark Elves are going to move to the victory areas while also performing base behaviors. The archers are going to use Blinding Arrow, which may provide an opportunity of advantage to the assassins. So they're going to shoot them with a Blinding Arrow, and if you're blind, things have advantage to hit you. Right? So there's some synergy there. The Griffins will select a target from among characters wearing the lightest type of armor. So this is their special targeting, is light, like lowest AC is who the Griffins are going to go after. They will grapple and then fly them to the furthest deployment zone for the opposing team. So the Griffins are going to go grab people and fly back here with them and drop them off. That's just what they fucking do. Yeah, that's it. And so if we go to the end of the document where the appendix is, I kind of talk about some bullshit about victory points, but we have this faux core tactics. So we have a warrior. Warrior is what I changed beast to. Beast is no longer beast. It's like warrior. Core tactics should be, wait, what? Let me double check that. One of them they'll move and like not worry about themselves. Core targeting closest foe. Dash, disengage, cover. They will not disengage. Okay, so if their core tactic is warrior, they're going to move towards the closest enemy and attack at the same turn if it can. If it can't, they're going to dash, right? And they're gonna reasonably avoid hazards here. If they're intelligent, they'll move toward targets strategically avoiding hazards as they can. So warriors are not going to disengage, and they don't use cover. Intelligent creatures will dash, disengage, and use cover. Their core targeting for an intelligent creature is random. So anyone that they can see, like if they fire a bow, then they're going to like select that. Their support uses use logical tactics for movement and defense. They can do all 3. They're going to prioritize using abilities on allies and avoiding being in range of enemies. They'll move toward allies strategically, avoiding hazards as they can. Then there's the secondary tactics. So we've got melee, which they're going to walk up and hit. Range, they're going to stay away from foes and try to stay at maximum minimum range to shoot. Support, I kind of get into it. I don't know what all I talk about. They're basically going to use all their support shit, and then they'll start either doing melee or ranged. If they use spells, they're going to cast all their spells until they're exhausted, and then they're going to fall back to a secondary tactic, which would be like ranged probably. Grapple creatures are always going to move up and try to grapple. If there's no valid grapple targets, they're going to switch to their secondary attack, which is usually melee or something like that. And then there's targeting. There's closest foe, random, maximum effect. You're gonna go, okay, yeah, no problem, man. So between the core tactic and secondary tactic, the idea is with these encounters to have consistency in a west march, which is something I'd like to actually get into at some point. But these are all ideas that I'm kicking around that I'm going to be testing out with these encounters. So in regards to the precipice, right, we've got these walker sentinels, the assassins, the griffin, the knight, and the archers. And this knight is he's a badass. This knight is an extreme badass. So this is kind of my troops. And so there's what, like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 16 troops here, and I can only have 10 on the board at a time. And so as they die off, I will be like placing more assassins, or placing more sentinels, that kind of thing. It's a random lightest armor type for the war griffins. And I think this is supposed to be warrior for core tactic right here. I think it's warrior. But some things will like avoid, like specifically move to avoid attacks of opportunity, and some like won't. Okay, so in looking at the troops, in looking at the map, I guess now we can just kind of fuck around and clean up the Tailspire map, I guess. So if you look at the 2D map, these are area of cover. I think I went ahead and put tents on all of them. I don't remember what this shit is. I think this is rough terrain. I'll need to go look. Yeah, I think this is rough terrain here. But all the covered areas I've replaced with the tents. Oh, and I need to do it here. See all this green? All this green is supposed to be covered as well. And so I guess I can start fucking doing that, huh? Let's get my lighting. Womp. All right, so thank you for my monologue explaining the different encounter styles and stuff. This white right here, unfortunately, is too fucking bright. I like the idea of demonstrating that this is all like marble stuff, but this is incredibly distracting. That white right here. As much as I like it, it's got to go. Even some of this, kind of boring shit, I think it'd be fine. Like that. This story's fucking. Does that add any texture? I can't tell. Like a tiny bit. This story's rolling over as I fuck up his map. What have you done? What have you done, DOOMGEON? Sorry, man. Made your map look like shit. But it was for the greater good. Didn't want to blind people with this right here. I wonder if I can keep that middle. We'll see. I'll it is what it is. I don't have a lot of time here. Well, I mean, I have tomorrow, but actually I don't mind that so much. Hopefully nobody's gonna get down there in the edges anyway. I love this part over here. What's so funny is you go from this detail to like this shit right here. This like flat wall that looks like garbage. God, is there anything I can do about it? What if I can combine it with Tavern? I haven't used Tavern in eons. I don't know if that, like... It's been so long since I've used Tavern. I mean, I don't know. It's not... Oh, okay. So, hey, folks. My son just threw up everywhere, which in my household is kind of a big fucking deal. So, Have a great night. I'll try to be back on again very soon. Sorry, family emergency, kid threw up. God damn it. Take care. Shit. Fucking 5 alarm fire.